All right, we'll call to order the Special Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Monday, July 7th, 2025. Go ahead with the roll call.
Steve Dyer. Brian Green.
Here?
Kyle Cook.
Here.
Mark Zelinski.
Here. All right, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance real quick. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll go ahead, public comments on items not on the agenda. Hearing no public comment, we'll go ahead and close public comment. Move on to approval of the minutes from June 10th, 2025.
I approve.
So we have a motion to approve. I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we'll move on to item number 4, recommendation to council on application 53125, the zoning map amendment. 11076, 11718, 11662, 11820, 11850 Green Chapel Road. If our staff could give us some background on this, and then I'll bring up our applicant.
Yep. Good afternoon or evening, I guess, at this point. Commission members, the application in front of you this evening is to expand the PD district by annexing or applying zoning to a couple properties that will be annexed later, and to rearrange a couple of the sub-area boundaries within the development, the planned development itself. So probably the best illustration of this are on pages 6, 7, and 8 of your packet. The applicant did a great job illustrating kind of what's there currently, the current sub-area boundaries, and then what the proposed sub-area boundaries are. So when you're looking at the maps, sub-area 1C is proposed to be expanded, and along with that, the multifamily sub-area 3 and commercial mixed-use sub-area 4 will both be reduced in area to accommodate that, the expansion of sub-area 1C. Sorry, I'm going to scroll down to the staff report here for a second. Let's see. And the staff report starts on page 27 of 29 of the packet. So I just wanted to point to the a couple of areas of the review that we did. The comprehensive plan review, so this area is designated as both employment and planned neighborhood in the comprehensive plan. The proposed change that we're reviewing tonight will not really change that in any way. There will still be a mixed-use aspect of this or a planned neighborhood aspect of the PD. The employment will just be expanded slightly to accommodate a little bit easier use of the land overall. And on the conclusion on page 29, based on the comprehensive plan and chapter 1165 of the city's codified ordinance, I didn't find any inconsistencies there or anything that would raise red flags. Nothing in here changes the fact that final development plans and/or a CODA review will still be required for any final development, so it doesn't take any of that away. It just simply rearranges the sub areas to allow for a little bit more flexibility in the employment portions of the PD, is my understanding of the request. I know the applicant is here and they can answer any additional questions, but I did just want to give you all a high-level overview of this first.
Yeah. Appreciate the refresher. We've seen this a couple times, but it's been lengthy.
Yeah.
All right, if you could have our applicant please come up.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Aaron Underhill with Underhill and Hodge at 8000 Walton Parkway in New Albany, attorney representing the applicant. Jamie McNally's here with me. Pretty straightforward. Over the last couple of years since the original zoning, we've continued to try to acquire parcels around the perimeter and kind of square things off. And we have been successful in getting another 28.7 acres in contract. So this will net out to an addition of that much to the PD district. We are also taking 73.2 acres approximately and taking them from other sub areas and putting them into this sub area 1, which is purely industrial. Jamie can answer these questions specifically, but we're seeing the more industrial type users want a site that's about 100 acres in size. And so one of the reasons that we do have some interest here from some players who won't be named yet, but that if we can create a site of that size, that there would be, we think, some interest in it for that sort of a use, which I think Johnstown would welcome. So that's really the impetus behind the request, is those two things. And I don't expect that this is the last time we'll be here doing something like this, in terms of, especially as we continue to expand the PD district and we continue to stay in contact with property owners. I'm sure we'll have random annexations and zonings coming in. So, anything you want to add, Jamie?
No.
Okay.
So just to make a long story short, you're expanding the commercial side, not so much the housing side.
That's right.
Okay. Just for the folks at home listening.
Yeah, I do want to know, we often refer them as missing teeth, but we've now filled in everything along Green Chapel.
Okay.
The former Trafton parcel is going to be, it's on its own schedule right now, but that'll be filled in. That'll be like the last missing tooth along Green
Yeah,
Chapel.
that annexation has been filed and is in the 60-day waiting period, or close to it.
Yeah.
And so we'll be filing that zoning soon and be doing the same thing here.
And we've been working with Cologix and LRE. We're working with LRE to move their substation. That's not currently, this is just like foreshadowing, but there's a LRE substation that's currently planned at Duncan Plains in Mink. It's about 9 acres, and we're doing a land swap with LRE so that we can get the substation closer to Cologix and better serve them, and they can tie into EEP's lines a little bit better. And then from the city's perspective, and our perspective too, we don't have to have a substation at a prominent corner like Mink and Duncan Plains. So eventually, we assume that we're probably going to add that back into the plan development, and that would essentially probably be absorbed into a yellow or green area for sub-area 3 or 4.
Okay. Good to know. Appreciate it. Any questions from our commissioners?
I have a lot of them, but obviously expanding the commercial area, I know you've mentioned that there's players, to try to ask as many questions as we can without you having to give away information that, right, it's kind of hinging on whether or not they can get into, and there's, things could change, but being a commercial area, we've already got a data center that's going in over there. Is there more employment opportunity for the other players that you have that you're talking to, or is this another data center that's planning on trying to come in?
I'd say we have interest from both. There's a few projects through One Columbus that we have been submitting sites for in Johnstown, and they've all been like about 100-acre site right now. And they come with they have code names, and we often don't even know who the end user is. It could be biopharmaceutical, advanced manufacturing. Those are probably the two big ones, the two big industries. We have not been able to get past the RFI stage on those, and sometimes we'll submit multiple sites, but the Johnstown sites have not been able to advance. Part of it is we want to continue to de-risk the site. Cologix, their development will help proof of concept for the market too and bring attention in the area. So to answer your question, a long way, we have interest from various different industries, including data centers, including biopharmaceutical, advanced manufacturing, and industrial. So we don't really have much interest right now from commercial side. We do have some interest from healthcare. And then we do have interest from multifamily development, but in the short term, we want to continue the industrial development first before we advance any multifamily right now. So if we had, if we had to sell it for multifamily right now, we probably could, but we don't really want to do that yet, right?
I think multifamily and certain portions of retail are always going to be there, no matter
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you do.
yeah.
I mean,
So-
and you know where the city of Johnstown stands with
Yeah.
commercial and wanting to make sure that we're getting our job centers straightened
Yeah,
out before
I
we
think
get anything else.
we're definitely aligned on that. We want to get the big puzzle pieces in there first. So.
To Jamie's point, on these big projects where you have to submit and check boxes and, merely the fact that you can't meet the underlying acreage requirement throws you off the list, right? And so that's why we feel we feel very confident, and we wouldn't be changing the line. We'd be keeping some flexibility, but we feel like the right thing to do is to increase the industrial to make the site more marketable.
It kind of leads into my other question that I had, though, because you're chopping basically half of the multifamily sub-area that's available currently, as well as almost half the commercial and mixed use. So clearly, it's going to go somewhere else at some point. Or are you planning on banking to utilize elsewhere, or what's kind of the plan?
To be determined, I think, and Trevor raised this same issue, and we've talked it through, but, I think one thing that's going to happen is you're not going to see, not very likely, if we keep the mixed use there, that you'll see all of the units that are entitled to stay on this site merely because of, I think there are some checks and balances. It's sort of self-regulation. The parkland discussion we had when we zoned originally, I think it's 1,500 square feet per unit has to be provided on the site, or you get a fee in lieu paid for that parkland. I know council at the time, and maybe even the planning commission, I don't remember, was concerned that we just want to pay the fee and not provide the parkland. And so when the time comes with particular developments on this site, one of the things that's going to regulate the density there is whether we can provide the parkland in a location either on-site or off that makes the community happy. So more to come on that, but the more we shrink the boundaries, the harder that gets, and we may be looking to do some things elsewhere.
That's all I had to come up with for now.
No, it was good.
Yeah, that was my question as well, is where's the elsewhere? But all that would have to come back through this. As you said, the CODA, it's gonna come through there. We still haven't done final plat on this PD district yet, so there's still a few more checks and balances in there that would have to see a final product in here.
Yeah.
There's still quite a bit of missing teeth, per se.
Do you know when?
Terminology, that kind
Do you know when tentatively that final plat will be coming through?
No, it would depend on, so, okay. I think the big thing's gonna be timing of a project and an end user, and then utilities. We've been continuing conversation with Johnstown's service department and engineers to strategize about ways to servicing the site for particularly water and sanitary, as well as figuring out with LRE and AEP when they can bring utilities to the site. All we can do in the meantime is continue to de-risk the site for the desirable end users, and then we'll kind of go from there.
All right. Is there any further questions? We'll go ahead and open to public comment. Is there any public comment back there? No?
No.
She's read this packet thoroughly.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else from our staff?
Not unless you all have any additional questions.
Okay. All right.
I'll motion to approve.
All right, we'll go ahead and close public comment. We have a motion to approve.
I'll second.
And a second.
Got ahead of you.
Go ahead with roll call.
Adcock,
Yep.
Mark Solondzewski,
Yes.
Brian Green.
Yes.
Thank you all for having a special meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
I really appreciate you
Yeah.
guys taking the time.
All right, well, our motion passes.
So I just want to say for the record that the motion passing is a recommendation.
This is a
Right.
recommendation to
Sorry.
council. It'll still have to go in front of council. All right, Rusty, at that, I haven't ran one of these meetings in a while. I think I have a lot of questions about it too, so. Yeah. All right, we'll go ahead and move to other business. Is there any other business?
No.
All right, and with that, any other business from staff? Anything that we'll see coming up on the horizon, in our next meeting or anything?
You did, I was gonna say, you sent an email about was it AEP asked for a change to,
Yeah,
Oh, that's public record now, isn't it?
it is. I sent everything over to,
Yes, so, I think it's on the 22nd, is that right? Scheduled for that meeting? Regardless, an application has been submitted to amend ordinance 19-23, the governing PD ordinance for this area, yes, to allow for on-site power generation using a non-combustion based process, meaning it's equipment that uses, my understanding is natural gas, but it doesn't burn it, and it's very quiet. So it's not like the turbines and other things that have been proposed around the periphery here. And they can be deployed, from what I've seen, on buildings themselves. They can be like building mounted equipment similar to an HVAC unit. And they would be part of, my understanding would be part of one of the data centers.
It's wild.
Okay.
It's natural gas, but we're not gonna burn it.
I think, my understanding is they use a process to break apart the chemical elements, and
Cold
I think it's
fusion or
basically hydrogen at some point, but I
Have to
don't
research
understand all the
that
chemistry
now.
behind it, so, yeah.
It's interesting. All right.
My understanding is, though, they will bring an expert, or the applicant will bring someone with them that can much more explain the technical aspect than I think any of us can.
All right. I'll consult Bill Nye in the meantime, and with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
For a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.